Hey, everybody, I'm Curtis,
And I'm Hannah.
and this is Love at First Fright.
Would you like to hear a joke?
Sure.
Okay. This one was told to me by a patient at work.
Okay.
So there's this guy, and he's driving his car down an old dirt road, and he finds himself out of gas. He pulls over to the side, doesn't have anything, and he's stranded. There's, no civilization anywhere nearby. And this bee flies up to him and says, "Hey man, what's up? You having some car trouble?" And the guy says, "Yeah, I'm out of gas." And the bee says, "Hold on, let me get some friends. We can help you out." So the bee flies off, and then, a few minutes later, the bee comes back with a bunch of other bees, and they fly into the gas tank, and they're buzzing around in there. And they come out and they say, "All right, you're all good now." And he says, "What's that? I thought you were going to bring me some gas or something." And they said, "Yeah, we did. It's BP."
Incredibly stupid. That's really bad.
I love this one patient. Every time I see him, he always has a joke like that.
Oh, that's good. I mean, it's funny. It's just, good Lord. It's a long walk for that. It's just a lot of setup for that.
Yeah. Every good joke is a long setup for a little zinger.
Yeah.
That's one of the principles of comedy.
Yeah. That's what they say.
They do say that. They say yes and really make them work for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't have any jokes, but I was looking on Amazon Movies or Prime or whatever to see what they had, because I still hadn't watched Project Hail Mary, and I really wanted to see that, and it's on there. But when I loaded it up, the first thing that they showed me, because I've infected our Prime with my watch preferences, and it showed me a movie. What, I don't remember what it's called. It's in the Devil's Mouth or something like that, and it's a shark movie.
Oh,
it's a Prime original shark movie that I think they're in like some Southeast Asian country. I don't remember which one, but they're like, it's a bunch of people and they like go into this cave that looks scary just inherently.
Right.
And then I guess when they're in there, they get attacked by sharks or something.
In the cave shark?
Yeah, I guess. Maybe multiple sharks. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, but I do want to watch it. So
okay, well, maybe that's what we're doing tonight after the pod.
Possibly. I mean, it's probably not going to be good. I haven't heard of this movie at all, and it's like a Prime original.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not good.
It's not going to be great. It had an actress in it that I recognize her face, but I do not know her name, and I feel like I've seen her in something else.
Maybe she does the circuits, hitting up the bad horror movies.
I looked her up, and I think it said she was in Lisa Frankenstein.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know her. Like the main actress?
I think so. Blonde hair.
Yeah.
I don't know if she did that in Lisa Frankenstein. Yeah, I think that's her. I don't know. I could look it up.
No, it's fine.
Whenever we talk about anything that could be cool, is we'll get to a point where we're talking about it and one or the other of us says, "I could look it up, but I'm not going to."
Yeah.
Like, we know the answer is right there, but that's not fun.
It's because I am a woman lost in time. I miss the days when you had a question and you were just like, "Well, I guess we'll never know," and you move on with your life,
Mm-hmm.
Now everything's so instant.
Well, I also think it's fun to just be able to start talking about whatever. And then both of us know we could probably just Google it to get an answer, but instead we'll spend like an hour or two just kind of theory crafting about what the answer might be, and then kind of
Right,
coming to a
right.
conclusion of like, I mean, that makes sense to me that it would be this, whether or not that's correct at all. Because I just think that's, that's more fun. Now, if it's anything important, we can look it up, but
Sure.
I'm not going to do that for a movie that I don't honestly super care about. I'm not going to do all that. That seems like too much work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And we're not even talking about that movie. Maybe we'll talk about it next time, but Shark Week will be
Yeah.
over. So,
Oh, yeah, we should have done it
well, I didn't know.
while it
Didn't
was
know it
Shark
until
Week.
yeah, I didn't know it existed until literally like, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. So that's
Okay.
it's okay. It'll be there unless they get rid of it. I added it to the watch list because I need to make sure I don't lose it, because it does feel
Right.
like it's right on the kind of the edge of something of, if I don't watch it literally right now, I will forget about it within 24 hours and I'll never watch it. So,
Oh, certainly. And also, it's impossible to find anything on Amazon Prime because it has the worst user interface of any streaming service.
yeah, that's very true. I used to think it was, and I'm sorry for saying this, Shutter, but I used to think it was Shutter because I really didn't like how you would launch their app and it would start you on their Shutter TV, which was like a
Yep.
in-app kind of TV channel where they would just show like back-to-back full-length movies, and I think sometimes like their Shutter original shows if they had them or whatever. But the idea being you didn't need to like put anything on. It was just kind of
Right.
stuff or whatever, which is like a cool idea, and they still have it because they've updated their interface. And I like the concept of it. I think other platforms are starting to do this too, but I just don't want to be immediately launched into that because that's a lot,
It is a
like
lot.
I sometimes I just want stuff on for background noise. I don't need to know the movie that I'm watching. And if you have a service like that on, or a section like that on the service, then like you probably aren't going to see the movie from the beginning. And I think that's fine because sometimes you just need background noise or whatever.
Right.
But let me make that choice. Like
Right.
I'll put it on. I don't need you to do
No,
it for me.
I honestly hate one thing, and we haven't had Netflix in a long time, so maybe it's different now. I don't know.
I doubt it.
But Netflix, does the thing where uh like if you hover on something for too long, it starts playing either a trailer or a
Mhm.
clip or something, and I absolutely hate that because it makes me feel like I have to like rush through, like
Oh, you
speed
can't spend
run clicking.
more than 3 seconds on any individual title, otherwise you're gonna start that, you know,
Yeah.
thing or whatever. No,
And
it's very
that just
annoying.
stresses me out. It's like overstimulating. Sometimes I just want to read the director and the actors and the little prompt. I don't want to get bombarded with noise.
Mhm. I think Netflix also used to do a thing where, like, if you hovered on it long enough, it wasn't even it didn't do a preview for it, it would just start playing it.
Hmm.
Like, it would just start, and I'm like,
Which,
I just set the remote down so I could go make popcorn.
right,
I
right.
hadn't made the decision yet. Don't start playing anything. I don't need that.
That reminds me, this is another movie we watched, but I don't think we're going to cover on the pod, and it's
We
not
may.
today's episode. But we were scrolling through Amazon Prime, and I just clicked over to the movies category, and I swear I did not double click. I just clicked
Yep.
on the movies category, and then it immediately starts playing something, and it just launches me into like the production companies.
Yep.
And then we decided, okay, let's just see what Amazon Prime decided for us today. And we
Yep.
watched it.
And it wasn't good. I'll tell you
I
that.
know.
It was, well, I don't even remember what it was called. It's like
It's
Do Not
called Do
Enter.
Not Enter.
It was bad. It was really bad. It was like, I mean, it's from 2026. I don't think anybody's heard of it. And I think it was a Prime original again. And even if it wasn't, not a good look to have a movie get made and then be released on streaming services that quickly,
Right.
just for free.
I discovered after the fact I was reading about the movie, and apparently it's based on a book called Creepers or The Creepers or something, which is like their little name as a group.
It was kind of like laughably bad. Like the dialogue was really bad. And it being based on a book makes me wonder if they just adapted some of the dialogue from the book, which if that's the case, it's very like YA novel.
Yes.
You know, like nobody actually talks like that. The stakes are like non-existent.
Yeah.
It's just it was weird and like not really a good time. But
no.
Whatever, we watched it, so
it's a movie that we watched.
Would not recommend that one in particular. But I don't know. I'm excited to talk about this one today. What we did actually watch, because I can't recommend it enough. Like ever since we saw it, I've just been like telling everybody. I was like, you have to watch it. If you've been considering watching it, watch it. It's so good. It's so ridiculously good. We watched so I guess there's like a little, you went to like a movie night with some friends and you watched the movie Obsession, which we're going to talk about today. You watched it there, and then you texted me and you were like, it was really good. We should watch this. I'll watch it again. You should watch it with me. And I was like, okay, because I really wanted to watch it anyway. So we finally watched it, and man, it lived up to the hype that like had been built around it, that I'd seen everybody talking about online. And I've been trying really hard not to be spoiled on certain things. And I knew certain things happened, but I didn't know when. And I also like people made a lot of references to things that happened in the movie, but I didn't know what it meant. And so a lot of it was like still very like, oh, whoa, for me.
Yeah, I managed to not really get any content about it. And then I think my phone was listening to me because like literally that night after the movie night with my friends, I was scrolling on TikTok, and all of a sudden 90% of my FYP was Obsession content, either like memeing on it or like interviews or, think pieces or whatever. It was just like all there. And I'm glad that I didn't have that before I saw the movie, because obviously like, I knew the prompt of it and everything, but I didn't know any of the
like the inner workings of the movie.
Yes. So I was very fresh, and it was a genuinely spooky experience. And honestly, it was still spooky the second time around. Like, even though I knew what was coming, it was still creepy.
Yeah. It is definitely a movie that I want to watch again. I kind of want to like get other people that I mentioned to a couple of friends and my brother. I was like, we need to get together and watch this. I want to watch this with you guys because I think it's like really good. And so I want to watch it again because I think it's one of those things where there's gonna be stuff in the background. There's gonna be like people will have said lines that like maybe you didn't register fully on the first watch through, that like on a second watch through you're like, oh, that's that's the thing that happens again. It's, I don't know, everything about this movie is like really, really well done. And it's just a fun time is I don't know that those are the most accurate words. It's really good.
Yeah, I wouldn't describe this movie as fun. I think it's pretty heavy, even though there is like a little bit of comedy sprinkled in. I think it's a pretty heavy movie with some pretty heavy like themes, but it's definitely enjoyable and entertaining still.
Oh, absolutely. It absolutely is not a horror comedy. There are certain moments in it that are funny, given the context of things. But I think it's one of those movies where they use comedy to make the horror stuff that comes later in the movie or throughout the movie just really like heightens that and highlights it. So let's go over like who made it, who's in it, all that stuff, so we can like talk about it.
Yeah, let's do it. So this is a 2026 American supernatural horror film written, directed, and edited by Curry Barker, who is kind of a YouTube sensation. The film follows Bear, a music store employee who buys a supernatural toy that grants his wish for his friend Nikki to fall in love with him, which makes her become obsessed. The cast for this, all really great performances all around. We have Michael Johnston as Bear, Indy Navarrete as Nikki, Cooper Tomlinson as Ian, we have Megan Lawless as Sarah, and we have Andy Richter as Carter, the Sarah's father and the music store owner. Mm-hmm. There's, a couple other people in it, but that's really the core crew there. And this movie was made for a relatively small budget, which I think is really cool. I think the original budget was something like $1 million, but Curry Barker said he didn't think they actually spent more than $750,000.
I got to touch on this.
Yeah.
As we're kind of talking about that. It is, much to my chagrin, it is a Blumhouse production.
Yes, I was going to conveniently.
Literally, they were doing the production companies at the beginning of the movie, and for anybody familiar with it, it starts out like in the CGI woods or whatever, as it's like pulling back and you see Michael Myers. And I saw it, I registered it, and I was like, damn it.
All right, we'll give you this one, Jason Blum.
I was so pissed off. And then I was like, all right, so this is the one really good one they're going to get in like 4 years, which is going to convince them that he's really got the formula figured out and justify him producing a boatload of slop to come out afterwards. Which is like, again, I understand the model of like doing smaller production budgets and more creative freedom for the people that they like bring on under the Blumhouse umbrella. I get all of that. And in this particular instance, it worked phenomenally. But I've seen so many Blumhouse movies at this point, and it's just like, man, the bad kind of outweighs a lot of the good that they end up putting. But anyway, I will give it to them. This one rules. So, good job on that for, whatever my congratulations are worth for them.
I know they've been waiting.
Yeah.
They're like,
he put it out. He said, I'm greenlighting this one and I'm listening in on this episode. And oh man, it's going to feel great when he eats his words.
Yeah, he's actually our number one listener. Fun fact about the pod. Just a little bit about Curry Barker for anyone who's not familiar. Like I said, he's kind of a YouTube sensation. He and Cooper Tomlinson, who plays Ian, are kind of like a comedy duo online.
Yeah.
But Curry Barker has also done some like horror shorts and horror films that he's put out on YouTube that have been extremely well received. I haven't watched any of them, but I'm curious now. So I think I will check some of them out. The big one that he made that kind of put him on the map was called The Chair. Yeah. And that's actually what brought him to the table to make a movie, because he was kind of propositioned to adapt that into a feature-length film. And he used that opportunity to be like, I don't want to do that. I do have this other idea for a movie called Obsession.
Yep.
Which, obviously worked out and came to fruition with this excellent movie. But, it's pretty cool to see kind of a small time creator get the funds and the resources to put together a, fresh creative idea, and it to be so well received, especially, is an excellent thing. We talk about this all the time, that we're kind of, I think as a culture, we're just kind of tired of like the hamster wheel of entertainment where everything is a spinoff or a reboot. And I think that we're really hungry right now for original content. And I hope that movies like this, that, really just like were a smash hit at the box office, I hope that this will encourage production companies to take some risks and to step outside the current formula and realize that there is a space for this kind of stuff in the mainstream.
I completely agree. I was just reading that it kind of seems like Jason Blumhouse, all of them are kind of like they're kind of going all in on Curry Barker here. I was reading about Curry specifically, and it looks like he's announced that he's doing a reboot. This isn't for I think Jason Blum or Blumhouse or anything like that, but he will be doing or directing a reboot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with
I
A24,
heard about that
which
too.
is going to be sick. And then apparently he's doing an original horror film. He's writing, directing, and producing it for Universal Pictures. And it looks like Jason Blum and James Wan are going to be, and then several other people will also be producing that. Anyway, all of this to say is it sounds like he's got a lot of horror ideas kind of like rattling around up in that brain of his.
Yep.
And if anything is anything he puts out is even half as good as this, man, we are in for some good stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to be eating good at the horror table.
Exactly.
And I am so excited for that. I'm just ready to like sink my teeth into like some really good stuff. I like to call it like this new wave of horror stuff. So like Hereditary and all that, which is distinctly different than, your like 1980s slashers. And I just, there's something about these newer ones that when they can get the commentary right and the horror elements right, and the soundtrack is good and the acting is really good, and all of these different pieces, and they can put it all together, it's just like it's truly something else. We
absolutely,
we watched this movie, and kind of like full disclosure, I went into it and like I sat down and I was kind of I was a little bit grumpy because I had some other stuff going on, and that I was like, I really don't want to be dealing with it, whatever. And we got into the movie, and like I was like, I let go from that stuff, and then by the end of the movie, this is what I was telling you this earlier in a text, but I was like, I don't want to like get into it all here because I want to talk about it for the pod. But I was like, I left that movie actually angry at, not because like the movie's bad. The movie is phenomenal. It's really good. I was emotionally moved to be angry because of how awful and terrible and disgusting our main character is in this movie. It is so well written to evoke this idea of like, how can somebody be so absolutely monstrous and in a very real way. Like the subject matter of this, or like the kind of like the through line here is kind of a supernatural element, right? And like I think that's all well and good. They do a great job of not like super explaining a lot of it, just enough that you like understand some, like, how generally how it works and everything. But there's no like montage scene of like, oh, this is how the One Wish Willow works kind of a thing. It's just like, it's kind of a mysterious thing. But other than the supernatural thing, it's like everything else in it, it feels real enough that you're just like, how can somebody be like that? How can anybody have these reactions? But it makes, I'm still like coming down from just like, how can Bear be this way? Right. How can so many things transpire over the course of this, where by the end of the movie, I'm like, he could have been worse. He could have had so much worse.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's the really interesting twist of this all, is that the person who is murdering people and self-harming and doing crazy body stuff that's terrifying is actually not the villain. She's the victim.
Yes.
And Bear is the villain. He's our main character and he's the villain. And I thought that the writing of how that was handled was so good, and felt really like you had this natural progression where you just see not necessarily a different side of him. I think that always existed, but you kind of see like him spiraling out of control in a way that is horrifying and cowardly and just frustrating and every word I can think of, just he's
no, it's
because he starts out as like I think the first couple of scenes he just feels like a normal guy that you might know.
Yeah, we
You
kind of feel sympathetic towards him.
Yeah, we do feel a little sympathetic towards him. He's very like shy and reserved. He's so, head over heels in love with his friend Nikki, but he doesn't have the, courage to tell her. He also seems like a little bit of a loser. Like he's kind of like has a dead end job and like doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life.
Yeah.
And, doesn't really have like a lot of connection outside of his friend group of his coworkers.
Yeah.
And I think like he does feel sympathetic for a while. And you're like, but the pieces, the interesting thing, especially on a second watch, is that I feel like the pieces of his evil were always there.
Oh, absolutely. This is a thing that I actually kind of want to talk about with it, because like I've only seen it once, but again, I got like little bits and pieces spoiled online. So like I kind of knew some things going into it. And I think like exactly what you're saying, like on a first watch through, if you're going in completely blind, I think he seems more sympathetic for much longer in the film. But on a second watch through, or if you know some of these details and like what you're looking for, it becomes so apparent that from the start, he is kind of a garbage person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think not necessarily the part in the opening where he's like talking with it, turns out to be, I think, a waitress at this diner, and Ian is there, his friend, and they're having like a mock thing where he's pretending to tell Nikki how he feels, and then they kind of like rag on him for it. That part is the part that really sets up like, okay, so he's kind of a sympathetic. He's very shy. He has a crush on somebody, whatever. The part that to me, the first piece of the evil that we really get to see, he returns home and his cat, Sandy, is dead, just on the floor. And you find out it's because the cat got into, I guess Bear has a supply of oxycodone, and the cat somehow got into it and ate these pills and overdosed on these pills. And so he cleans up, gets rid of the cat. I think the fact that not just the cat being dead, although I think that has a hand in this of like displayed that like he is so not present or like focused on the well-being of like anything else in his life. He is so singularly focused on like his want and desire of Nikki that he left these pills in a place that this cat could access them.
Right. It's not like the cat climbed into the medicine cabinet and undid the child locks on the pill bottle. They had to have been accessible.
Yeah, he's even asking himself, he's like, how did you get into this and everything? And then he's cleaning up, the mess from the cat being dead, and he's not really showing any emotion, which is like fine because like people grieve in different ways. But the next shot we get is like him sitting in his bed and he's crying. And at first you're like, okay, he's crying over the cat. That makes sense. But he starts saying is like, why doesn't she? And I think it cuts like you don't like, he doesn't like finish the thought, but it's very clear he's crying because he's upset that Nikki isn't like reciprocating his like feelings. Not that he's like putting anything out there to necessarily be reciprocated, but I think it's from the start he's like, it's like incel behavior.
Yes. I'm glad you said that, because I think this movie is basically a speed run of how young men become incels.
Oh my God, yes.
where, you know, they start out as normal guys, maybe a little socially awkward, maybe, you know, not having a lot of direction or connection in their life. And then as soon as they get that little sense of power over women, it becomes everything to them.
Yep.
And they simultaneously desire and despise women.
Yes.
And want to control them above anything. And this movie is really about the loss of Nikki's autonomy. Yes. And her over her body, over her life at his hands. That's the horror.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why at the end of this movie, like I was actually like so mad, because it doesn't end happy. It really doesn't. No. It is not an overstatement to say it's fucked up how the movie ends. I genuinely feel like the bad guy in all of it doesn't really suffer all that much. He displays that he is an absolute coward and unwilling to do even one kindness for somebody that he knowingly is hurting.
Right.
At this point, like there's all the evidence to say that, you know, that this is what is happening. And at the very end of it, the person left to pick up the pieces is Nikki. And no matter how you think of the ending of it, it doesn't turn out well for her after this. No. It couldn't possibly. Her life, regardless of if she has control over her body again, is ruined. It doesn't even matter that she has it at the very end of it because of how things transpired over the course of this movie. It is so utterly awful to be left at the very end of this movie sitting with that feeling and being like, what the hell? Like, there's nothing to like be done about it. And it's wild because like I've watched plenty of movies, and like, you know, I don't even think that this is like a super uncommon kind of like story to be told in the sense of like bodily autonomy and everything, like being removed from people and everything. But like, this is just it. I don't know. This movie is just like the way that it was written, how it was acted, all of that. It just like, it really comes across of like, man, it's like unfathomable how evil somebody really can be. And it sounds wild because like, I feel like if people haven't seen this movie and they're hearing like you and me talk about it, maybe they think like we might be overstating it, but I really don't think we are. There are so many points in this movie where, in the most generous reading and interpretation and giving as much possible grace to somebody who doesn't deserve it, which is Bear, to say that he doesn't believe that the one wish Willow, when he makes the wish, actually is real and happens, because this is supposed to be like grounded in reality where like magic isn't real. So like, why would anybody think this works? And it's kind of a through line later to the climax of the movie. Like, other people don't believe it. And he researches it a little bit online, and it's like split. People don't believe that this thing is real. Right. There are multiple instances in this movie where he is confronted with overwhelming evidence that it is real, that he is in fact hurting somebody by having done this wish, and the outcome of or like the consequences of that wish. So even in, again, the most generous interpretation of this is that he didn't believe it was real. He gets confronted with this multiple times, and his reactions are not to figure out how to reverse it or free the person from this. It is to alter it so that he still benefits from it the way that he wants to, and to get other people to give over things so that his life can be corrected and be saved by this. It is, everything he does is self-serving. It is entirely from this selfish perspective, and it still makes me kind of mad thinking about it.
Yeah. And I think it's supposed to, you know, and I think it would have been really easy to write this movie and for it to just be a monkey's paw situation.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this movie was so intelligently constructed where it's so much more than that. You know, it's not just like, I don't think there's really any evidence to say that the one wish Willow is inherently evil and seeks to do harm. I think his wish was so fucking bad and he is so bad that this was the only possible outcome.
I have seen discourse online about Bear, and I think truly he is just an irredeemable and bad person.
Yeah.
At the end of this. So like, but if you set that aside, there have been people talking about like, well, are there other ways that he could have used his wish to get not necessarily the same effect, but like in a way that doesn't disrupt her autonomy? And people have been like, well, he could have done something like, I wish I was the kind of person that Nikki was attracted to.
Or I wish I had the courage to tell Nikki how I really feel about her.
Right. Any of those things would be like infinitely better than what he decided to do, which is to completely remove any choices or autonomy from her. And then once he learned that, in fact, is what happened, continue to not allow her to have the autonomy. I mean, the capstone moment for me of this whole thing of like solidifying, like he is, I don't care what happens to him, but whatever they do on screen is probably not going to be terrible enough for this person, is there is a scene before we get to kind of the climax of everything where Nikki is asleep and Bear is getting texts from Sarah, one of their friends, to come meet her so they can talk about some things. And some of the context around this is that like obviously things at home, you know, Bear's house with Nikki, like stuff has not been good. It's I honestly think a really good like discussion about like abuse and how like that looks and how people function with that. But anyway, so he gets up and he's gonna sneak out to go meet with Sarah. But when he gets up, Nikki starts talking to him, and his initial reaction is, I'm just going to get water, because every time he like goes to get up out of bed or leave or something like that, she's like, you know, like, where are you going? You can't be away from me, kind of a thing. But he realizes that in this instance, Nikki's body is asleep. They make reference to this thing called Freaky Nikki. So just for clarity's sake, I will refer to the kind of like the taken over one as Freaky Nikki, and then regular Nikki will just be Nikki. Nikki is talking to Bear through Freaky Nikki while Freaky Nikki is asleep. And Bear realizes this because she's not moving. I don't even think you can see her mouth moving. She's just like, he can hear her voice, and he's having a full conversation with her. And she is saying, please kill me. Please just kill me. That it is her body essentially there, but it is not actually her. And all she wants is for Bear to kill her. Bear's response in this moment isn't why, or how can I help you, or, you know, I didn't mean to do any of this. It's literally none of these reactions, which vary in degree of, you know, fucked upness in whatever the context of this whole thing. His response is, what's so terrible about being with me?
Yep.
And like he said that, and I was like, absolutely fuck this guy. Like, I don't give a shit what they do to this man at this point. It's not going to be enough, because that is the most it never even occurred to me that could be a response that you would have in that moment. That is like the most disgusting thing he could have said.
Yeah. And she even says, the real Nikki even says in response to that, she says, I've never been with you, Bear. Because she hasn't. Nikki has never been with Bear.
Nope.
Nikki has never kissed him or said I love you to him or any of that. It's all Freaky Nikki. And he just turns and walks away and leaves her there while she's saying, please, 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 please.
Yep. Literally pleading with him to do that. And again, at any point he could have done some kind of kindness, kill her. You know, it gets discussed when he's asking about altering the wish. He like calls the number on the box of the one with Wish Willow, and they're asking him, you know, do you want to cancel it? And he says, no, I just want to alter it.
Yep. That's when I knew he was the true villain. That's a little earlier in the movie, is that he didn't want to cancel the wish. He just wanted to alter it. He still wanted to force her to be in love with him. He just wanted to do it in a way where she wasn't acting crazy.
Yeah. All he wanted was some idealized version of her, like on a pedestal, to be exactly what he wanted. And anything that deviated from that was going to be unacceptable. And to be completely honest, even if it was some idealized version and she did act exactly like that, she would have never actually been perfect for him, only because he would have found something to like criticize about her. Like she might have like set aside the horror elements. Like let's say it was all, you know, perfect and everything like that. Him being this kind of monster about everything would have found something else to have a problem with. And I think that that comes to a head when he goes and actually meets Sarah, because
Agreed.
you have these moments throughout the rest of the movie where he's still interacting with some of the friends, and it's very clear that Sarah has feelings for him. It's said as much by some of the other characters, that Sarah has feelings for Bear, but it's just highlighted and extra fucked up because like all of this other stuff is going on, and then he finally keys into the fact that Sarah has feelings for him. And it's like in that moment when he kind of like finally keys in on that, you're like, you piece of shit. You absolute piece of shit. You have Nikki at home. You literally just left her being like, what's so bad about being with me? And you are basically getting off on the fact that another woman is stating that she has feelings for you.
Right. You're basically ready to cheat.
Yeah. It's like it is so fucking like
Yep. Yeah.
I hate it in the best way. Like this is why like I want to get into like the rating of it and everything, and I think we're both kind of trying to talk about this movie without getting into too much of like the story, because I genuinely think people need to go watch this movie. It is so good and I don't want to ruin it for people.
Yeah.
This movie rules. It is awesome. I love it so much. I want to watch it again. If I can buy a physical media version of it, I will do that. I don't care. I'm going to go watch other shit that Curry Parker makes. It's so good. I also want to give shout outs. Like I could go on and on and on about this movie, but I want to give shout outs to Indy Neveretti. There's a scene that I think a lot of people have seen now where she like does this like backwards walking thing. Fucking creepy as shit.
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
All of her facial expressions and her voice changes and all of that, that was all her. That was her performance. Like they didn't change her with CGI.
Insane, because there's a scene where Bear wakes up in the middle of the night and she is like watching him sleep, and they're like having a discussion, and I swear her face is changing.
Yeah.
Like she looks borderline unrecognizable, like almost like she's like older or something, or like her face is morphing, and she's just doing that. Oh,
I'm pretty sure she's just doing that. I don't know if they used makeup, like practical effects on her at any point, but they specifically said they didn't use any CGI or anything like that on Nikki.
It's so incredibly refreshing and exciting, like watching this. And like I'm pretty desensitized to a lot of horror stuff. There were moments in this movie that I was like, oh shit. There were other moments where it's like it's telegraphed, right? Like if you're a fan of horror, you know what's about to happen, kind of a thing. And the moment I'm kind of referencing here is the moment where Bear is eating his lunch, and I don't know if you remember, but he's going to open the lunchbox. And I was like, you know, the lunch is going to be fucked up, right? I don't know if you heard me say that, but I said it and I don't. And again, like it's crazy because this movie does such a good job of going from like, oh, these things that Freaky Nikki is doing are genuinely horrifying, terrifying, disgusting, whatever. Like they're all terrible. But then you realize who the target of these things are too. And then you're like, it's okay. Actually, I think that's fine.
No, yeah. No, I saw an interesting theory online that I like, that because when he makes his wish, he specifically says, I wish that Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone in the fucking world. That's how he phrases it. And I saw one theory where someone was talking about on TikTok that they think that the emotion that he had when he said that, and the fact that he included vulgarity, is why she's so weird. That basically, like, if he had even phrased it slightly differently, like if he had just said, I wish Nikki Freeman loved me more than anyone, that she probably wouldn't have been so weird. But it basically like introduced vulgarity into her love.
Mm-hmm.
and how she expressed her love. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just
It's one of those things that I actually really like about it too, because again, they don't really get into a whole lot of like how the one wish willow works, other than everybody gets one if you break it, and then you literally can't break another one. We see that
right.
kind of play out, and that it is real, which is demonstrated through some other things, which and I think that that's great. It's that perfect level of like giving us just enough so that we can go on this journey and like understand the baseline rules of it, but not over explaining it,
Right.
because I think that that would have been like really boring. Like if we had gotten a solid answer of like, oh, it's a demon possessing Nikki or whatever, I don't know what it is, other than to say that like it seems like two distinctly different personalities
Yeah.
that are in there. And
Curry
so
Barker has said that it's not a possession story,
yeah.
which I think is interesting because I
Mhm.
don't think it's a demon.
Yeah.
I think it's just, it's like they've created a tear in the universe where there's now two different versions of Nikki,
Yeah.
and they're having to coexist in one body,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
But
Like she's locked in and looking out through the eyes of her own body, but unable to do anything
exactly.
about it. And not that she's possessed by anything else. It's almost like just like a different personality takes over um,
Mhm.
for her, but not, whatever. Like she's fully
Yeah.
conscious of everything. She literally can't do anything about it. I don't know. It's really, really good. Um,
Yeah. I have, before we get into the rating, I just have a couple of quick factoids that I've picked up either from the Wikipedia or from interviews I saw online that I wanted to share. And one that I think is really, really important, and shout out to Curry Barker for this, is that he was offered $2 million to rewrite the movie with Bear as a hero.
Absolutely not.
And he declined that $2 million.
Ugh. I want to
And God bless
know.
him for that.
I want to know what garbage person suggested it first of all, because that literally ruins the movie.
Yeah. And it's like, would it have been worth it? No.
No, it'd have been stupid, and like maybe it would have had more mass appeal because as soon as a movie comes out like this, you're gonna get a contingent of people. Like this movie comes out, and I think it's really. I don't want to say it's really easy, but it does seem kind of easy for certain people to be like, "Oh, well, Nikki's the villain because she's doing all the horrible stuff."
Right.
But it's like, but is she though? I mean, like there are casualties of this, but when you get to the root cause of it, why are those casualties there? And this would not have happened had it been had Bear not made the wish that he made. He had
Right.
not acted selfishly. I mean, it's just like even when he gets the one wish willow, he goes to the store because he's on the phone with her, and she drops her necklace like down the sink or something like that. She loses her necklace, and he stops in to go get a new necklace for her. And he asks the person behind the counter for help where the necklaces are. They show him where the necklaces are, and he's looking at it. And for one, it doesn't even seem like he knows her well enough to pick anything out that she might actually enjoy.
Right.
He asked like what's a good one for like like general good vibes or whatever, and the person gives a recommendation for like citrine or something like that, like sunshine in a rock, and then he like picks it up and he's like considering it, and he's like, she'd hate that. And the thing is like he doesn't necessarily need to know anything about like spirituality and like crystals and what people think and all of these things or whatever. He doesn't need to know anything about that. But it's like he didn't even know what the necklace that she wore was to get her like a replacement for it or anything like that.
Right.
Because like if
Or
you
like,
really liked her so much, like you didn't even like that's like surface level information. It seems like she wore it all the time, and you
right.
didn't want to get any kind of information about that or like know her well enough to be able to get like a general style to kind of like know what just by looking at it, regardless of what the crystal was for, And
Right.
then when he's in there, setting that whole bit aside, he sees the one wish willows and then he buys that instead.
Yeah. Which is like, what's that about?
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, when he's giving her a ride home, I think trying to come up with the courage to like tell her his feelings and everything, but things don't go the way that he would like them to for this. He says that he has something for her, and her reaction is like less than what he wanted it to be. And then he acts like he doesn't have it. And then he just uses it for himself. So it's like,
Right.
it's just everything he does is just so self-serving. And it's just like, how, man, like I watched Thanos from like the Avengers isn't even this evil, man. Like, and
Right.
one could argue he was kind of trying to do a good thing or whatever, but like,
Yeah, it's some interpretations.
yeah, it's just like, damn, man, how can you be this fucked up? Anyway.
I also this is my own personal theory, but towards the end of the movie when things have really reached a fever pitch, and I won't get into the specifics of why, but he goes back to the store and he buys 2 more One Wish Willows, and he goes to his friend and he's trying to convince him that it's real and that he needs to make a wish for him. And I think what's so fucked up is that he is instructing his friend to say, I wish my friend Bear had never made a wish. And then he bought a second One Wish Willow, which tells me that what he was going to do is immediately turn around. Like if his friend had done that for him, he would immediately turn around and reword his wish to make Nikki still love him.
Absolutely. I fully believe that interpretation. The only other interpretation I can think of for it is he's going to explain to his friend to how to do this or whatever. While he's at the store, the other guy, the guy behind the counter, you can hear him saying, he's like, you might be able to get her to make the wish for you if she like truly would do anything for you because, she loves you or whatever. Like you could get her to make the wish. And so the only other interpretation of that is that like it is truly like a backup plan of like he thought maybe this wouldn't work. Like in case Ian or whatever doesn't do it the right way, I have one more that I can get her. But I think your explanation, your theory of it makes like so much sense that like he's banking that Ian's going to make this wish, it's going to fix things, and then he's going to turn right back around because technically it should void out his wish. He never made
so
one.
He can make another
one, and he can word it in a way that makes it so he can get exactly what he wants. Essentially not learning anything from this whole thing.
Exactly. Yep. He learned nothing. I think that's the most infuriating part, is that he truly learned nothing. Even down to, well, I'm not going to say this because it's kind of getting into spoilers of how it ends, so never mind. But he truly learns nothing. He doesn't grow as a person, and he sucks. Let's rate it.
Yeah, let's rate this one. So I gave it really high scores. I think you did too. I think
I did.
In general, I rated it slightly better than you did. But I mean, like the lowest you gave it was a 7.5, and everything else I think you gave it was 9s.
Yeah.
The lowest I gave it was an 8, and then I had a 9, 2 9.5s, and a 10, which sounds like incredible numbers. This movie is incredibly entertaining. Like I want to watch this movie again. It's so good. I very rarely feel like when I see a movie, like I really want to go see it again. And this is one of those movies that I'm like, I just want to throw this on again. I want to show people this movie. I want to sit there and I want to get their reactions to it, whatever. I think some of the effects that we get from some of the, not just like the kills that happen in this movie, because kills do happen, but some of the other effects of like the disfiguration and things like that, like it just looks so good.
Yes,
the performances are stellar from these people. Like it's just so
yeah, everybody does a good job. Bear does a great job.
I think like this is one of the things, like Michael Johnston, who played Bear in this, like phenomenal job, because I hate that character. I hate
yes,
Bear
we hate
much.
him.
And I like, you gotta be so good to pull that off.
Yeah, no, it's so true.
I mean, all of them. I mean, Indy Neveretti and Cooper Tomlinson, Ian in the movie. Like they all just do such a good job. I think Ian Cooper Tomlinson as Ian does like a great job of being like this like friend, and then you find out some information, and then like he's like really good at being like kind of unlikable, but like also he seems like reasonable and rational about certain things. Like they all just seem also very nuanced as people. Like nobody is written as these like one-dimensional characters that serve only as like a plot device to get or like for the main character. They all feel like they are all fully fleshed out characters, and I think that is such incredible writing to be able to do that.
Agreed.
And in a world where it's just like, it's not even that like we don't get a bunch of original ideas. I think we do get original ideas in horror like fairly often. I just think like, this is going to sound really mean, I think a lot of them are just like they're half baked and they're not super good, and then they get greenlit for budget. And I'm the biggest proponent of this. We don't stop doing that, right? Like these are creative ventures and outlets for people, and I know for a fact I have like shitty home movies that I made with my friends when I was kids, because like, and I still love movies to this day that like those aren't good. And I'm sure like if I was to get greenlit for a movie or whatever, my first movie might not even be all that good. Please keep making those things. But I think this is just one of those movies that like it comes out and it's like everything about this is so original and cool and unique, and like it has a lot to say, and it feels just like it's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. So did we say what score we gave it? We gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it rounded out to a 9 out of 10. I think I gave it a 9.2, and I think you gave it a 8.7. So it comes out as a 9.2 or a 9, sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah,
this might be our highest rated movie on the pod so far.
Like it rules. This movie rules. It is. We are in like a horror movie Discord that other people talk about stuff in, and I came in there after we watched the movie, and I was like, Obsession is the best horror movie of 2026 like so far. Like it's hands down. It's not even close.
Yeah,
like this movie is so good.
Yeah.
And also, I know he's not like the biggest star or anything like that, but it is. I love when we have movies like this and people like Andy Richter, who are bigger names than I think like almost anybody else who is attached to this.
Right.
I love when they're in these kinds of movies, and he plays a relatively minor part in it.
Yep.
But like
he's just the music score.
I loved him in it. It's such a minor part, but it just fleshes everything out, like he's just a guy. And in Truly, there's a part in the movie like where something happens, and my first thought was like, oh, he's gonna be so sad.
I know.
Like I was like, oh, this is truly horrible.
Yeah. Poor Andy Richter.
Can't catch a break,
Yeah.
Did you have a scariest moment that you want to put on here?
I think the scariest moment of this,
and sorry, if it's going to be a thing that's like a spoiler, let's go ahead and like say that now so that people can like skip this part if they really don't want to spoil anything.
I mean, I'm going to talk about a scene, but it's not a plot spoiler.
Okay.
I think the scariest part of this movie is that scene where she's watching him sleep.
That's a really good one.
And her in that corner is so haunting.
It's fucked
up. But specifically the kind of like jump scare of that scene where he tries to go back to sleep because she's telling him, go back to sleep. And he tries.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear this gut-wrenching scream of, why don't you love me? And he pops his head back up and he's looking around. Where are you, Nikki? And she comes floating in.
Oh, God. I have goosebumps.
Oh, my gosh. Me too. She comes floating in with a vase in front of her face. And the way that she's moving is so horrifying and unnatural. And
yes,
it's just that moment in particular where she just floats into the room in that weird, horrifying way is probably my scariest moment.
It's so good. To me, it is. I talk about this when I talk about Hereditary, and like one of the reasons I like it so much. When I think about Hereditary, when you get to the end of the movie where he is climbing up into the treehouse and everything, that whole scene still gives me goosebumps. Like just talking about that scene freaks me out. From Hereditary. And that scene in the bedroom where she's in the corner up through the whole vase thing is so freaky and weird, and I hate it in the best way. And it's doing the same thing. Like just talking about it and picturing it and remembering it is giving me goosebumps. Like it's so freaky. I think that might also be my scariest moment in the film, but just to be a little different, I will pick a different moment because I think there's a couple moments in here. And this is also a scene that this one is pretty spoilery. So if you don't want this spoiled, I'm going to keep this like to a minute so you can skip ahead here. Skip ahead 60 seconds starting now. There's a scene in the movie where Bear goes to sneak out and talk with Sarah. And kind of the climax of this scene is where he discovers that Sarah has feelings for him. And there's like a moment where we're sitting kind of peacefully. And then Nikki runs up out of fucking nowhere, smashes the car window that they're sitting in with a brick, and then grabs the back of Sarah's head and smashes her face and head into this brick so many times, killing her, and it deforms her entire face. It is disgusting and so bloody and visceral and awful. It is so horrible. And you were telling me this earlier. Apparently in that scene they had to cut parts where Sarah was like gurgling, like drowning on her own blood, because it was going to give them an NC-17 rating. And the effect when they show her face after is so awful.
Yes.
That scene rules. It's so good. And then it just like made the rage towards Bear just like even worse. I'm like, okay. I was like, I hate this, man. When I catch you,
Bear, when I catch you, Baron.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway.
Crazy. I mean, you really can't go wrong. There's so many scenes that are genuinely spooky, scary, and it's a good movie. It's just a good movie. I don't know what else to say. I have nothing else to say. It's just a good movie.
Oh, it's like no notes,
yeah,
man. No notes. I was talking to a couple friends earlier about this, and I was like, it's one of those movies that like it's so good. There's nothing else you could do different about it. It's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I am so excited for the Chainsaw Awards when those roll around, because I think this movie is going to get all of them.
Clean sweep.
I think it deserves all of them. I think it's going to clean sweep the shit out of those things, and it deserves it. And I think Curry Barker needs hundreds of millions of dollars to do whatever the hell he wants to up on that screen.
Agreed.
I'll go see all of it. If he's going to put out stuff like this, I'm so excited.
Yeah. I also heard, I was reading I didn't hear it, I was reading in the Wikipedia that he has some ideas not for a sequel to Obsession, but for like an anthology series that's like different wishes gone wrong. Which would be really cool.
Oh, that'd be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be really good.
But anyway, I think that's going to do it for us. If you want to connect with us on social media, we are First Fright Pod on Instagram and X. We also have a Facebook page. It's called Love at First Fright. And you can send us an email. It's firstfrightpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Obsession or what movie we should watch next. We're always looking for suggestions. So reach out.
Yeah. If you've seen this movie and you want to just like gush over it for 3 uninterrupted hours, hit me up. I'll be glad to talk about it. This movie rules. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. Please go watch it.
Yeah.
We also need to go watch The Backrooms because I heard that was
heard that was good too. Haven't seen it yet.
So anyway, I think that's it though. Like I said, I don't have any notes for this movie. So yeah, as always, scare well. See you next time.
No, don't do that. I thought we were having a nice podcast.
We are.